Hello, once more, everyone. Welcome back to my channel back here on YouTube. Doing my NFL prediction videos for week number 3. After week 2 ended last night, I finished 5-2 after going 2-5 in week 1. And I can say this also: it's identical to my record from week 3 last year. After the first 2 weeks, I was 7-7 as well because I went 4-3 and 3-4 in week 2. And week 1 and 2 combined last year, making 7-7. This year, the first 2 weeks, get 2-5 and 5-2. To make it 7-7. So deja vu moment for me at 7-7 going into week number 3. With that being said, let's get started. We have another 7 matchups that are going to be fun to watch this week and fun to see, including a rivalry on Thursday night on Amazon Prime Video. So that's going to be a fun matchup to see. I'll talk about that here real quickly to start us off. That being said, let's get started with our week 3 NFL prediction video. And like I said, our Week 3 kicks off Thursday night with the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mitchell Trubisky going into Cleveland to play the Browns. And their backup quarterback, he was the starter for now, and I'm trying to remember. I forget his name. The Browns quarterback, Jacoby Brissett, of course, who used to be with the Colts, bounced around with the Colts and the Patriots in his career, and now with the Browns, his third team. Filling in for Deshaun Watson, who's suspended until week 11. This matchup I have some questions about. All the AFC North teams lost in week 2, so they're all 1-1. The Steelers have Mitch Trubisky, former Bears quarterback, and the Browns have Jacoby Brissett, used to be a Colts quarterback. He probably had a lot of started when Andrew Luck was hurt for the Colts back multiple times over the last 5 years, and was the Colts starting quarterback. Well, Luck was out battling multiple injuries in multiple seasons. And the Browns, they lost a game to the Jets last week in 82 seconds in the fourth quarter by giving up 2 touchdowns. So this matchup's an interesting thing to look at. The Steelers last year owned this rivalry and had a winning record last year. And the Steelers, even though they had a winning record last year, they didn't make the playoffs. I think Steelers fans are probably thinking, when is Kenny Pickett going to start? And how long will TJ Watt be out for? Because their defense against the Patriots did not look good in the matchup the other day, you can say. And that was not one of the games I predicted last week. So, yeah, the Patriots looked good on Sunday. I saw that game. It was pretty good. Steelers need some help. Without TJ Watt, I don't know how good this defense is going to be. I think it's going to give the Browns an advantage if TJ Watt is out injured still. If he's out in week 3, it's going to give the Browns an advantage to move the ball downfield and attack the defense. That's what I think could happen in this matchup. Jacoby Brissett down the Browns. I don't know. He has Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt as his running backs. I don't know who the receivers are in Cleveland. They have a bunch of guys I don't know at wide receiver. But Steelers, they have a good wide receiver group. I think Mitchell Trubisky will be better in week 2. I think he'll give the Steelers a chance to win. I think it's going to come down to the field goal. I think it's going to come down to the kickers. I think the Steelers kicker, Chris Boswell, is going to get the most points, maybe kicking 3 field goals. I think the Steelers will get 1 touchdown at least. And I'm going to take the Steelers in this matchup on the road in Cleveland because they dominated the Browns the last couple of years. But when Baker Mayfield was there, he did good too when he started 2 years ago when the Browns made the playoffs, and also did into the wild card round by beating the Steelers. But I'm taking the Steelers in this matchup for week 3. Second matchup, 2 unbeaten teams out of the AFC East. And this is very surprising. Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, the team I said was going to win the Super Bowl this year out of the AFC. And the Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback. 2-0 were down in the game against the Ravens, 28-14. Came back and won. I believe they scored 35 points. Now that the Dolphins are going home, they're playing the Bills, who are 2-0. 2 teams in the AFC East. This matchup, I think this year is going to turn into a rivalry with both teams being unbeaten early on at 2-0 going into week 3. And I think this matchup, when they hook up twice this year, they're going to play each other twice this year. I think it's going to set up to be a good matchup. I think each team's going to get a chance to win. whether it's at home or on the road in this matchup, I think each of them will win one game against each other. So each team will go 1-1. And I'm going to take the Dolphins because I think the Dolphins are doing some great things as an early start being 2-0. I'm going to take the Dolphins this week in week number 3 because I think the Dolphins, they have Jalen Waddle at wide receiver, Tyreek Hill, the former Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver, who was one of my favorite team. But, last week I picked the Chiefs against the Chargers. Picked the Chargers against the Chiefs because the Chargers won last year in week 3 against the Chiefs down in Kansas City, but enough about that story. I was wrong on that prediction last week. But I'm going to take the Dolphins here at home in this matchup because I feel the Bills later in the year at home against the Dolphins will have the chance to win the second matchup. And this matchup might decide who wins the AFC East for sure. So I'm taking the Dolphins against the Bills in week 2 here in week 3. Going into our next matchup in New York. The first matchup in New York is on Sunday. 2 games at MetLife Stadium, 2 weeks in a row. Joe Burrow and the Bengals, who were 0-2, and the Jets were 1-1 under Joe Flacco, the former Ravens quarterback who won Super Bowl 47 a long time ago. Seems like that was almost 10 years ago almost. And it almost was. And Joe Flacco now leading the Jets 1-1 because their quarterback Zach Wilson's injured. The thing I think about this matchup is the Bengals 0-2. I did not expect them to be 0-2. I did say earlier in the season, the prediction videos, when I predicted they see at the beginning of the year that the Bengals, Chiefs, and the Bills, you could line them up 1, 2, or 3 as the number in those seeds, 1, 2, and 3 exactly. No matter what order they go in, they'll each be 1, 2, and 3. So surprising there. The Bengals, I think Joe Burrow and the Bengals have a better matchup this week against the Jets, who are 1-1. I believe it's going to be a matchup the Bengals will get a chance to win because I think Joe Burrow is going to find his receivers, T. Higgins, and other receivers to pass to, his tight ends maybe as well. And Joe Mixon, the running back, helps out, gets rushes. And I think the Bengals defense shows up this week against Joe Flacco and the Jets. So I'm going to take the Bengals in week 3 against the Jets here in this matchup, which moves us on to our late afternoon games on Sunday in Arizona between the defending champions Rams and who are 1-1 and the Cardinals who are 1-1. I don't know how many of you saw that overtime win for the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray on the road. They scored a touchdown in the last second of the game with no time remaining. 1 for 2 made it. Went into overtime against the Raiders. Raiders had a third down. They threw a ball. It was fumbled on the ground, I believe, and recovered and ran back for a touchdown, which the Cardinals won. And of course, they reviewed it because the question was, did the player get rid of the ball early before he crossed the plane? No, he did not, according to the review. The Cardinals won. This is a matchup between the Rams and Cardinals last year. They played 3 times. The team that won each matchup was the road team of this rivalry, or this division, except for the playoff round when the Rams won at home in the wild card round in the first round of the playoffs. And I think you're going to have the thing to say this year with the road teams possibly winning this matchup. But I'm going to go with something different. Last year when I predicted this matchup for the road team, I predicted the home team to win each time. I was wrong. I'm going to take the road team and the Rams to win this matchup on the road in Arizona. Last year I went with the home team in this matchup, both times when they played each other, except for the playoffs when I predicted the Rams. I'm going to go with the road team this time around because that's what happened last year. The road team won this matchup both times, except for the wild card round of the playoffs in LA on Monday Night Football last year when the Rams won at home. So I'm taking the Rams in this matchup as a road team. See if things will change. Maybe I jinx myself. Maybe I'm wrong. I jinxed myself last year picking the home team in this matchup twice, and it was wrong. But we'll see if it happens again with me taking the road team and see if the home team wins. We'll see. But I'm taking the Rams though. Going with that. Our next matchup in Tampa Bay Yeah, the Packers, Aaron Rodgers, who had a big one against the Bears the other night, my favorite team, go 1-1. And the Buccaneers, Tom Brady and the Bucks. So the storyline to watch in this game, Mike Evans is out suspended for the Buccaneers. Which, okay, I get it. You suspend a guy because he threw a punch or pushed a guy to the ground, get suspended for a game. Should be like more. And then we have the Green Bay Packers, of course, and Aaron Rodgers, who did some stuff last week. He found Aaron Jones' running backs, got some help in the running game, in the passing game, worked with it, and made some good moves. Now this matchup is going to be something interesting to pick. I'm going to go road heavy with 3 teams on the road this week. I'm going to stick with the home team this matchup because I think Tom Brady, even though Mike Evans is going to be out, I think Tom Brady will find the ball. He found a few other receivers last week, found his tight ends, found receivers. With Mike Evans being out, he'll still have quite a few players. He'll have Julio Jones and Chris Godwin, his other 2 wide receivers, where his number 2 and 3 guys, respectively. You could put either one of those receivers for the Buccaneers as number 1. We'll see who can be the number 1 receiver this week for the Buccaneers and Tom Brady. He also has Leonard Fournette in the backfield. The Packers, though, they have a young group of wide receivers. They have Randall Cobb, who's back. His second stint, they have Aaron Jones, their running back. But I think the Buccaneers are just a better team in this matchup, and I'm going to take Tampa Bay because of that. So go with the Buccaneers in Tampa on Sunday, which moves us to our Sunday night game. Which moves us to our Sunday night game in Denver. Between Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers, who took over for the injured Trey Lance is done for the year, and Russell Wilson and the Broncos. So the Broncos and the 49ers. My other favorite team, the Broncos. Everyone knows I like the Bears and Chiefs, but the Broncos are my other team. When they brought in Peyton Manning, I loved them. Peyton Manning was a great quarterback and cheered for whatever team he was with. But now, Russell Wilson and Denver, it's going to be a fun team to watch in Denver. I think they're going to make the playoffs this year, possibly. Maybe win a Super Bowl next year or 2 years down the road. We'll see how long it takes. So Jimmy Garoppolo came in for Trey Lance, who broke his ankle over the weekend on Sunday at home, and he got the 49ers a win. Russell Wilson did the same thing in his first home game again after losing to the Seahawks on the road. Went home, made some changes, got a win. It's good to get your first win at home with your new team because then your fans are going to love you. This matchup, I think, is an interesting matchup to watch. Question is, will George Kittle be back for the 49ers at tight end and play? I'm hoping he is. If he is, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to have his favorite target downfield there for him to throw to, and he'll score a few touchdowns potentially. For the Broncos, they have Javonte Williams, who's a second-year running back. Russell Wilson is first year with the team. But the wide receiver group, I don't know much about the wide receivers. Jerry Jeudy, a few others in there, and wide receiver, I don't know much about the Broncos. But playing at home on a Sunday night, I think it's going to be hard for the 49ers to go in there, even if George Kittle is active. If he's out, I can tell you this, the Broncos will win. And if he isn't, then it's going to be a close game. But I'm going to take the Broncos because I think the Broncos have a better chance in this matchup to win. And I think the Broncos will definitely find some points for their teammates. Which moves us to our next to last game. Our last game of the day, which is on Monday night in New York again. Daniel Jones and the Giants against the Cowboys. And an unknown name in Cooper Rush, who has 2 starts in his career with the Cowboys as starting quarterback. Dak Prescott has already been ruled out for week 3 for the Cowboys. This matchup looks like it's going to be interesting to see. Cooper Rush did it last week against the Bengals. The kicker Brett Maher for the Cowboys got the game-winning field goal to win it 20-17 in regulation time. But the Giants, they're a surprising team, 2-0 as well. The Eagles, like I said, are going to win this division, 2-0. Giants, I don't know if it's going to last this week. It lasted the first 2 weeks. I'd be surprised if it happens this week and the Giants win. But I do think it's going to be hard for Cooper Rush and the Cowboys to go into New York. Went on the road on a night game. The Cowboys last year dominated. The Giants haven't had a 2-0 start for a long time. I don't know the last time they had a 2-0 start. Probably have to go back to the Eli Manning era, possibly. This matchup's going to be fun to see, I think, on Monday night. I'll give you a prediction right now with it. I think Cooper Rush and the Cowboys are going to go into New York. But I think the Giants are barely going to squeeze out a victory. So I'm taking the Giants of New York on Sunday night for week 3. And with that being said, I'll go over a recap on who I'm picking again once more so we know. First matchup, Pittsburgh and Cleveland. I'm taking Mitchell Trubisky and the Steelers over Jacoby Brissett and the Browns. In Miami again for the Bills, Josh Allen and Tua Tagovailoa. I'm taking the Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa, 2-0 against the 2-0 Bills. I think this matchup's going to be a rivalry this year. They're going to each get one at home, I think. Unless it turns into the LA-Arizona situation where the road team wins each matchup. But I don't expect that. Then in New York, Jets, Bengals. I think Joe Burrow and the Bengals will get a better chance against the 1-1 Jets. Playing on the road, I think the Bengals will get a win. Finally, the defending AFC champions pick up a win in New York. From there, we go to Arizona and LA with the Rams and Cardinals. Last year, I picked the home team in this matchup. I was wrong both times because the road team won. So this time around, I'm going with the road team to start the year with this matchup. We'll see who actually wins the matchup. Go with the Rams against Arizona in Phoenix. In Tampa Bay, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, 12 versus 12, the two quarterbacks. Brady, Rodgers, I think Tom Brady and the Buccaneers have better chance to win this matchup. Green Bay going in with all their young receivers. I think it's going to be hard for them to win with all the young receivers in Tampa Bay. Aaron Jones might get a touchdown or two, but Rodgers is going to have issues against the Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers defense is going to be there all day trying to get him out. And then Sunday night in Denver, 49ers and Broncos. Jimmy Garoppolo back as starter. Russell Wilson after 2 games. It's 1-1 in Denver. I think going into their lights, if George Kittle's playing, the 49ers have a chance to win the game, keep him close. But if he's not, Denver has a chance to pull away. I'm going with the Broncos, though, no matter what. I'm taking the Broncos in this matchup. Then New York with the Giants and Cowboys on Monday Night Football. It's going to be fun. I'll probably be watching the Eli Manning and Peyton Manning broadcast on ESPN2 probably, because they always do a good job with their special guests joining them. I'm taking the Giants to beat the Cowboys and Cooper Rush. I think it's going to be hard for him. Only his third career start for the Cowboys. Going on the road to New York against the Giants, it's going to be tough. I think the Giants fans are going to show up and help their team win. So the Giants go 3-0. They'll be one of the rare 3-0 teams I pick this week. We'll see what happens with all these matchups. If you enjoyed today's video, please remember to watch, like, subscribe, tell your friends to do the same if they've not done so yet already. Also, hit that notification button below so you know when I upload a new video. With that being said, have a nice day and stay safe. And I'll see you right back here next Tuesday in the Week 4 NFL prediction video. Right back here next Tuesday. With that being said, have a nice day, stay safe, and I will see you in the next video. Have a nice day and stay safe, everyone.